Welcome to The Week is Overrated. It's your host, Don Dollar. Thanks for everyone who has checked out all of our videos so far. Like I said, we're a few weeks into, looking to continue to grow the channel and build up. If you can like and subscribe and share, that'd be greatly appreciated as we like to share this relatable information to relatable people. Um, for today's What Did We Learn? I don't know if I know I didn't just learn it, but for those who may not have learned it yet, respect is non-negotiable. It doesn't matter the who, what, when, where, or why. It doesn't matter the place, space. Respect is non-negotiable. That's been a mantra of mine since I was a little itty bitty, um, and that has led me to not be in some favorable positions as far as I guess you could call it getting myself in trouble, but I guess what we would translate it in 2026 is standing on business. That's what I would equate it to back then. Um, but yeah, if I had to break it down, you know, corporate America, being a business owner, and just as a man, those are three points in my life or parts of my life where I really had to, reinforce that and just let the tone be set as it pertains to that. So when it comes to like corporate America, for example, I remember I worked at a TD Bank and I had this one store manager and he was normally very intimidating to all of the all the people that worked in the store, like cashiers and people who worked in customer service. So he was like one of those like intimidating but like passive aggressive types. And I remember he had this thing about wearing like a green tie on Fridays. And in my head, I'm like, all right, I'll go and see what I can do. So I go out to the store, but the store that I went to that particular day, they didn't have any green ties that would fit me. They had like the shorter ones, and I'm a taller guy. So I said, all right, well, I tried. I mean, I did make the attempt. I went out to the store to see if I can get one, but I wasn't able to get one. Oh well. He then started this campaign slowly but surely of like trying to make it a thing of me not wearing the green tie on Fridays. And I'm like, listen, that's not in, the contract that I signed. That's not a part of, work requirements. So it is what it is. I did go. They didn't have, and I'm not going to keep going to just appease you. Again, it's not that serious. We're talking about the color of my tie, not the quality of my work. Like, what are we talking about? So I remember he came up with this ultimatum where he said, if you don't wear this green tie, then you'll have to wear a green feather scarf. And I was like, about that. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, it sounds good, but we both know that's not what we're gonna do. And Friday came. I came in non-green tie, looking to handle business as usual. And as I'm in the middle of conversing with a customer, he proceeds to walk up with the green feather scarf, and he tried to do it in a joking manner, where because it's a customer right there. And by this time, the tension started to kind of build up, and he tried to like put it on me because I was sitting down, and I was laughing, and I grabbed it out of his hand, and then I just threw it, like I tossed it like in the corner, and the customer's laughing because they think it's a joke. He's laughing, but he's not laughing, and I just have I just got one of those type of expressions because again, and that falls into the corporate American and as a man, it's like I told you that's not what we're doing. You was under the assumption that I was playing. So now I have to reinforce my line that you think that you cross. We're not doing that. And he proceeded to have me in his office, and he had like a whole meltdown, and I just sit there, cool, calm, and collected. I let him get everything he had to say, out, and I just asked him at the done, "Are you finished? Can I go?" Because we're like at this point, we're talking about your ego. Again, we're not talking about performance. We're not talking about process, procedure, rules, and regulations. Like we're literally talking about your ego, and I don't pacify ego, so I don't know what you want me to do about that. But and even as a business owner, I think especially with when we transition into box trucks, hiring drivers and operating a business and wearing so many different hats, there were times where, individuals thought that they held some sort of power and that they can, wage disrespect as it came to me. Imagine their employer, you know? And one example in particular, I had a guy who he had a delivery in Minnesota. Now I think we picked the load up on Friday in Jersey, and it was doing Minnesota on Monday. And I mapped the whole plan out for him on how he can get there on time Monday 8 a.m. And of course, he had other plans, and so we don't end up getting there until late. So basically, now Monday's thrown off, and I found him a load going from Minnesota to Chicago. It was late, but it was something. And I told him, the load's due at 7 in the morning, and his response was, "I see how I feel when I wake up." And I said, "Okay," and I just hung up the phone. At that point, he sealed his fate. You were done. Like you're fired. You just don't know it yet. I gotta be judicious in how I handle business, but pretty much he made sure he got it there on time the next morning. But by the sheer flagrancy of you thinking that you can just tell me we'll do this depending on how you feel when we're running a business, when we're, trying to keep relationships and keep making money. He was done. I got him one more load all the way back to New Jersey. Once he came back, gave me the keys. That was it. Fired him that night. Because with being an independent business owner, you gotta make sure you have things, infrastructure wise. Like you can't just be arguing with people or going back and forth or doing all of that. Like you gotta hit them with the silent killers. Like keys, make sure everything's secure, make sure your stuff is good. All right, you're done. See you later. And I need this job. My bills. I was like, oh, well, you should have thought of that because again, disrespect is non-negotiable. I'm not tolerating it whatsoever from nobody. Like no one could get disrespect off and then it just be all good. Nobody. And when I say nobody, I literally mean nobody. And for individuals who know me, they know that literally means no one can disrespect me and then it just be all good. Like it's going to be some type of, depending on the nature of the relationship, there's going to be a big difference, beyond that point. So I say all that to say, you know, not tolerating disrespect has worked out for me most of the time. Some of the time it hasn't, and that's more so when I was younger, because a lot of times that resulted in, you know, physical altercations. But if, I mean, just think about allowing people to disrespect you is just like a reflection of how you feel about yourself. So if you want to be an individual who, either thinks highly or, or want to, or aspire to think highly of themselves, or have a high self-confidence and respect level for yourself. Disrespect, it totally goes against that whole thing. And I mean actual disrespect. I'm not talking about like you just looking for any old little thing for somebody does to, be like, oh, that's disrespectful. No, I'm talking about actual specific, like you can outline and pinpoint the actual disrespect. And you know so yeah, that's our what did we learn today. Respect is non-negotiable. Respect yourself. Respect yourself and everything that you have going on. Like I said, rather if you're in a workplace, again, remember, you're a man or a woman before you're anything. Don't let anybody disrespect you for money. Nope. If you're a business owner, guess what? The same way you hired that employee, you can hire another one. If they think they're bigger than the shield, get them out of there. Simple. Get them out of there. Don't think twice about it. Don't let your feelings see, because the feelings, they can make you look like a fool. Don't let your feelings make you look like a fool and then accept disrespect when it's time to hold those people accountable. So, and then again, just as a man, if it's family, don't matter who it is, disrespect, we not doing it. Weekend's overrated. We out.